Welcome to Rinkside. Let's get right to my Stanley Cup prediction. I got Florida in 5. The betting odds are basically a push, so why don't I think it's going to go to 6 or 7 games? Let's break it down. I'm not doing a deep dive into stats today. Like when the playoffs start, you don't really concern yourself with what happened in the regular season. And by that same logic, you have to forget about what's happened in these conference matchups leading up to this moment. If you were to put the Eastern and Western conferences on a balance scale, which side do you think outweighs the other? Even though the Stanley Cup was won by a Western Conference team last year, I would argue that the Eastern Conference is deeper and more talented across the board. Now, who cares about that, Michael?
Idiot!
Well, I would argue that tougher competition has the Panthers more prepared. And maybe Vegas will need to dig deep and reach another gear to compete. What's the saying? Offense sells tickets and defense wins championships. But in playoff hockey, a good defense can be trumped by a red-hot goalie. After succumbing to the President's Trophy curse last year, getting swept in the second round by the Lightning, the Panthers have bounced back to reach the Stanley Cup Finals. The story reminds me of the President's Trophy winning Lightning team after they were swept by Columbus in 2019, only to go on and win back-to-back cups and coming up just a little short of a three-peat after losing to Colorado last year. One step at a time here, but I could see the Panthers having similar success. Let's do a side-by-side comparison of the two teams. Vegas' first line with Barbashev, Eichel, and Marchessault, while Florida's first line is Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Duclair. I'm going to say it's a push.
You dirty rat!
Vegas' second line with Howden, Stevenson, and Stone, where Florida's second line is Cousins, Bennett, and Tkachuk. Again, too close to call, but the physicality could tip it Florida's way.
If you're a rat.
Now, to where I think this series is decided, the bottom 6. For Vegas, Smith, Carlson, and Amadio on the third line, with Carrier, Waugh, and Kolesar for the fourth line, it's pretty solid. In Florida, with Luostarinen, Lundell, and Reinhart on the third line, Lomberg, Stahl, and White for the fourth line.
The rat.
I thought looking at it like this and maybe saying it out loud would help. It doesn't, and this is why the sportsbook's having a difficult time offering something appetizing. This is a very close matchup. The defensive pairings for both teams are comparable too. Vegas blocks a ton of shots, which is imperative when you're outclassed in net. I'm going to repeat that there's a good chance that this final comes down to physicality, number 1. And number 2 might just be coaching, making the right adjustments at the right time. Is there a long shot coaching decision to be made? An off the board move? I was looking at a list of the Black Aces for each team, wondering if the answer might lie there. And it is still shocking to me to see Phil Kessel's name on that list, a guy who has won 2 cups, but has seen his game taper off since leaving Pittsburgh. And it's to be mentioned that Phil Kessel was one of 3 Golden Knights to dress for all 82 games this year, for whatever that's worth. And for Florida, if they were to follow a trend that we've seen from other teams, do we see the Panthers 2021 first-round draft pick, 20-year-old, former Michigan Wolverine Mackie Samoskevich in the finals? He has not played a game in the NHL yet, so this is probably a stretch. But adding a goal scorer to the bottom 6 could tip the scale. Just a thought. Vegas has home ice advantage, but that hasn't really seemed to be relevant. Keith and Brady Tkachuk might catch the Vegas flu, but the Panthers have proved that they are fully focused and primed to win on the road. Vegas is 6-3 at home. Not great, especially when Florida has already won 8 times on the road this playoffs. What other component could we look at to help us decide? Are the 10 days of rest for Florida going to lead to rust? I don't really think so. I'll tell you what I'm most looking forward to for Game 1. It's seeing the production that Vegas puts on for the fans in attendance, the pregame. Hopefully TNT will get enough coverage for the broadcast that we can enjoy it at home too. Thanks again for tuning in, and if you haven't already, check out our sponsor Violent Gentlemen. I'll have all the links down in the description. And make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share with a friend. Again, I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.